When you went back and watched the film from Saturday, what stood out to you as the difference throughout the game, not just that last stretch?
Yeah, there's probably 7 or 8 loose balls through the course of the game. A rebound that slips out of our hands, and then it ends up, them making a shot or getting an extra possession. There's a play late. We don't secure the basketball, ends up them making a three. So you know how well you have to play on the road. Those plays, you've just got to find a way to finish those. So that was, to me, through the course of the game. That's what put us down 6 at half as opposed to us being probably even up. Felt like we had a great focus and defensive intent to start the half and got back in. And with, 4 minutes to go, we have the lead. And I think as much as anything, it's a mindset, at that point of just we get stops, this is what we do, and finding a way that way. So, yeah, again, the margins are so small in a Big 12 game from – winning the game, finding a way to win by 1, and then you lose by 8. I think it's so small.
We've talked for years about how important home court is in this league. With the unbalanced schedule, does that become even more imperative to protect home because that's the one thing you can control in an unbalanced schedule?
Absolutely. Totally true, 100%. Protecting your home court. We're fortunate to have unbelievable fan base, unbelievable home court advantage. We need to take advantage of that. And like you said, what we do control is that we have 9 league games at Hilton, and one at a time we need to come with great focus, great intent, competitive spirit, and get the job done.
After week 1, what are your thoughts on a weekend 1 on the Big 12?
Yeah, like we all know, it's the best league in the country, and you see across the board, anybody can win on a given night. For us, playing Oklahoma, they're a team that, they're improved from where they've been, more athletic, faster. And so I think if you look at the first week in the Big 12, what you're going to say it's a really good league, and you better be ready to play because there were some games that were won by a wide margin, a lot of games that were close, and that every night out you better be at your best because otherwise you're going to be in a bad spot.
Was there any Big 12 game that make you on Saturday that made you say, oh, wow?
Not really. I don't really spend a ton of time, outside of just our game and preparing and putting everything into our game and getting ready. And then when that game ends, getting ready for the next one. So truthfully, not out of disrespect or anything like that. I don't pay a ton of attention outside of I'm aware what the scores are. I'm aware of who won the games. But I don't know all the teams in the league as well as maybe you have in the past when you've had fewer teams and you're playing everybody twice. So it's something that as we get ready for those opponents, I'll continue to learn more about them.
One more. How much of a burden is that? You're right. You've got new teams. Some of them you only play once.
Yeah, I know right now that there's a game in front of us tomorrow that we need to put all our effort and focus and attention. And I'm not real good at looking ahead or, thinking about scenarios or hypotheticals. Feel like we're in the spot we're in because we just do the same thing every day, focus on what's in front of us. So I don't think it really matters how many teams or what happens with realignment or all that. We're not going to change or deviate from how we've done it to this point.
Coach, Hassan Ward on Saturday, what did you think about his performance and how integral is it for him to be healthy as far as when Big 12 play really gets rolling now?
Yeah, no, I think we all see the difference that he's made even in the 2 games back, and he hasn't really had the practice time or the ability to, get in the shape that we'd love to have him in. We saw he had 12 and 7 and was 6 of 7 from the field. He makes athletic plays at the rim. He helps us generate turnovers and get steals. His length and athleticism is a factor. He's a tremendous offensive rebounder. He's become a great playmaker. So, he played well, but yet he's better than what he played on Saturday. He's just got to keep getting back into that shape. The only way you do it is, the work every single day, and he's continuing to do that. So excited to have him back and what he'll continue to bring.
With Trey, I know you've talked about him battling some things early in the season. How is he health-wise, and what does he need to do to, I guess, more consistently produce? Because it seems like it's a double-figure game, then it's down, then it's a double-figure game and down.
Yeah, certainly he's been fighting, some back things. I'd say, the consistent part comes from just do the same thing every day, and then where you've put your focus mentally. And Trey's a gifted player, and we think very highly of him. And I think for him, if you're to look at the rebound numbers we've talked about at the beginning of the year, if all his attention is focused on rebounding the basketball, I believe he'll play better. He'll be the more aggressive player. Our team will benefit more. So that was the challenge at the onset of the season. I'm not going to waver or deviate from, if you're going to be at your best every night out, you're going to have that defensive intent or that intent on the glass, defensively blocking out, offensively going, and I think that will allow him to play more free and more consistently, just putting his focus in that one place.
I think Oklahoma went 10 of 24, 10 of 25 from three. You talked about a couple of those just maybe being lucky bounces that went their way. How would you evaluate your three-point defense against them on a whole?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I felt like we were pretty good. I mean, yeah, we go 1-3-1, they hit a corner three. You know, that's a tough possession. And there's a transition three that, you know, they're four-man hits that at the end of the day, you know, it's probably not the end of the world. Certainly don't love, you know, giving other teams better shooters clean looks, and I think Dart Hart had a really clean one late. That's not ideal, and you know, with McCollum, just making sure he works for all of them. So I think night in and night out, it's not as much even about attempts as about, you know, the right guys taking the shots. You know, they want their best shooters shooting them. We want to prevent that from happening. They want rhythm threes for those guys. We want highly contested shots. So as I evaluate our three-point defense, I'd say it was okay. You know, I don't think it was better than okay. I don't think it was terrible. I do think there's two or three of those that were made as the product of, you know, a tip ball, a rebound, or something that, you know, now that puts you in a tough spot. So.
And what's the biggest key to maybe being able to contest a little bit better, like you said, to prevent some of those shots from falling as Big 12 play continues?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we've got to make certain choices. Like, you can't be great at everything. So it would be unrealistic to say, are we going to be great turning people over? Are we going to be great on the glass? Are we going to be great keeping out of the paint? Are we going to be great guarding the three? There's all these things, and I think our defense has proven that we have a lot of strengths to it. If you were to look at it and say, well, the one thing is from an analytics standpoint, teams are getting more three-point attempts, I would say, well, we're doing a great job keeping the ball in the paint. The ones that they take early on one pass, we probably don't have an issue with. The ones that, you know, they take at the end of the clock because they couldn't get in the paint, we probably don't have an issue with. The ones that it's their best shooters in rhythm, those are the ones. So it's really not the attempts, because I think all good defensive teams probably, I don't care if you look at Houston's defense, Virginia's defense, the best defensive teams probably shoot more threes because there's probably some more fear there that they're not going to get what they want at the rim or they're not going to get to the foul line. So it's more making sure that we get the threes that we would want their team to take rather than the ones that they want to get.
And then one last one for me. You briefly talked about Houston's defense and analytics. I mean, analytically, I think they have the best Ken Pom defense of all time right now. What makes them so talented on that side?
They have older guys, physical bodies. They play with tremendous energy and enthusiasm. Every time you set a ball screen, they have two players to the ball immediately. Every time you set a ball screen, they immediately take the roller away, so they make you, continue to pass it. It's almost like a hot potato. You got to move it, you got to move it, you got to move it, because if you keep the ball in one guy's hands, their coverage doesn't bust. So depth is also a strength, for them. I think they've got, nine guys are really comfortable playing. One of them's a freshman. The other 8 are all older, experienced, physical guys. So I think they play hard. Their coach does a great job. Their team has been effective that way, and yet at the same time, they're coming on our court. So, we're up for that challenge.
Talked a lot about how daunting the Big 12 schedule is, which it is. But Milan, after the game, at least on the radio, talked about just you got to be excited about these games, right? I think is what he said, and be in this environment for that. I mean, it's going to be a roller coaster, as you've said many times. So what do you expect, just as in terms of the guy's attitude and navigating it? Looking at everything as an opportunity, not a oh gosh, what's next?
Well, yeah, that's a great thing about this league, right? Because if you look at it, there was a time 2 years ago, I think we lost 8 out of 10. Last year we lost 7 out of 9. I don't think anybody talks about that. You talk about the NCAA tournament berth. How do you put yourself in that position? You get really good at handling adversity and just staying at work, right? Like, do the next thing that's in front of you, and things come around. And we've seen that in both seasons where you have, a point in league play where you have some challenges, and then we've seen a point where things have come around for us. So, we're not going to change what we do. Just do the work every day. Understand that everybody's going to take their lumps. Be good at handling adversity. Don't change what you do because something happened. Just continue to believe in the things that you're doing every day and know that over time they'll work themselves out.
Oklahoma's 11 turnovers on Saturday. I know you want more, but do you have to turn people over more often than that to to have success over the next 17 games?
Well, I think the turnovers allow you to play with more pace. So again, it goes back to the 7, 8 loose balls, tip balls, those sort of things, right? So maybe 3 or 4 of those end up as turnovers that we go in transition. Maybe another 4 of those end up in plays where they end up getting another offensive possession as opposed to us playing with a flow. So I do think turning people over is going to be important for us to be successful. Is it going to be realistic to turn people over to the same extent in the Big 12 that we've done outside the league? No. I mean, we know that. But I do think, how we pressure the basketball is important. Speeding people up is important. Winning in the margins, getting turnovers on our baseline out defense or in our press or ball screen deep, absolutely, those are important for us. But getting them within the realm of playing our defense and not gambling or just, quote unquote, going after steals.
To go back to the home court, like obviously everybody knows how difficult it is to play here, but you've been on, as an assistant and as a head coach of teams that have had a ton of success. Can you tangibly see guys have a different kind of confidence playing here, like, that have been the best teams at Hilton Coliseum, or they've gone undefeated or 8-1 in the league?
I know our guys have shown, again, the opponents are always different. You can only do the job on the night that it's there. Our guys have shown that we get off to a fast start for the most part, and that we've started fast in the second half for the most part. So I think our focus and our intent has been there. Obviously, it's going to take even a higher level in both of those areas. I think when you do that, then you build that confidence, then you feel almost a level of invincibility at home. We're fortunate with the crowd that we have and the fans and the passion and enthusiasm. So it's our job to set the tone for that, to make sure that we're the one getting everybody in the game, that we're making those energy and hustle plays. And I think you build that confidence. So even as you look at, the league playing, like, Randy said, it's the one thing you control, right? Or you said is your home game. So to do that and build that confidence, you've got to prove to yourself that you can get big wins on your home court. You do that by stacking up plays. That's what our focus is going to be tomorrow.